last week with Miss Tracy Morris, which was very eventful one, to say the least. Yeah, that was great going over to Belfast, met some really good people, and had a good time in the process, as well as obviously issuing legal documents, as much of a good time as it can be issuing legal documents. I love it. I think it's fun. It's an adrenaline rush.
Yeah, I was tracking your plane going over and coming back, and the first thing I thought was, there's an angel in that plane, and somebody from the heavens is, listening, guiding you every move.
Oh, yeah, that was brilliant as it goes. And what you mentioned about stormy seas and all that was making me paranoid.
Yeah, so tell us, what have you been doing then?
Right, well...
Issuing loads of documents.
Yeah, well, it was just basically public notices to all the local authorities in Ireland. We went to Dungannon, Pomeroy, Belfast, Anderstown, quite a few others places in Ireland as well. I can't remember them all off the top of my head, but yeah, we covered most of the majority of Ireland anyway. Well, first of all, we went and turned up at the doctor's to issue in with the papers that we had, and the nurse came out from behind the desk and started putting her hand in front of my camera because I was recording as I went in there. And I said to her, please don't put your hand in front of my camera. You're actually perverting the course of justice and obstructing justice by stopping me from filming what I need to do because it's for my evidence. And she come out and grabbed hold of my hand, and to that point I said to her, look, you're committing assault. You just put your hands on me. Really not touch me because I'm recording you, yeah, and that's assault. And she went, I didn't assault you. I didn't touch you. I went, yes, you did. It's all on the camera.
Just for the listeners, because I'm just going to be a listener who's daft. Did you first ask for anyone in particular when you got there, or was it just walked in with your camera and then you got intimidated by the woman?
Yeah. No, I did go in there and ask for the doctor, Dr. Peter...
Sabowell, yeah.
Yeah, I can't pronounce his name properly, but yeah, him. And he wouldn't come down, but the nurse came from behind the counter and started getting in my face and all that lot. And I knew they'd already phoned the police, but out in Ireland, they're all armed police anyway. So I saw the car pull up and I was like to Tracy, oh look, our friends have arrived. So I knew they was coming anyway, so I was prepared for it. So I went outside the building and started talking to the police officers, which were really very polite, I suppose, as polite as police officers can be. Pretty nice guys, really. And they just explained to me when they came out, they went and had a chat with her, but they came out and they said to me, if you was to go back in there, I think under common law, because he saw all my paperwork and he was reading through it, he said, I think under common law there'll be a breach of the peace. I said, no, there won't be no breach of the peace. I said, if you do your job properly and be a police officer and come in there with me, you can make sure there's no breach in the peace, and then I can serve these papers to the doctor for his misconduct in public office. And if you don't, you'd be committing misconduct in public office as well. But he said, well, under common law, if there's a breach of the peace or you go back in that building, I'm going to have to arrest you. So I was like, okay, well, we'll just do it this way. I'll just post it first, recorded delivery first class, and as soon as there's a signature for it, it means he's accepted the papers that I served on him.
Wow. I guess because of the situation and you wasn't near home, you kind of couldn't afford to get arrested. Not when your tickets were booked for a pre-planned trip.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I was thinking. Like, obviously I know the law and I could have started saying whatever I need to say, but you know what I'm on about. Obviously, if they took a disliking to me being English and them being in Ireland, obviously, and me being out of my comfort zone, it could have went the other way and I might not have got on that plane the next day. So that's why I decided to just play it cool and I agree with them. I was totally polite. They was polite. They wasn't rude or anything. So I just went along with them and I said, that's okay. So we won't go back in there, but you're probably going to get called again because we're heading to the social services next.
Yeah, I actually think, you you got it in one, and I'm not trying to make you small or nothing, but I think you were out of your comfort zone because over there, you've got it bad in London for sure, and Wales with the Linda Lewis campaign and all that stuff. But in Ireland, well, sorry, not Southern Ireland, Northern Ireland, I think they've got it really bad out there. The corruption, the paranoia of people with guns and...
Oh, yeah, it's just the same in London, though, man. London's 10 times worse, trust me. Out there, it's not even that bad. Like, obviously, it happens, it's there, but you don't really see it. It's sort of undercover, if you know what I mean. But I didn't really see nothing untoward while I was there from the people. The people were actually nice people. It's just...
Oh, absolutely.
It's just like you said, it's the corruption, isn't it, within the government and the police, even down to the doctors and the social services. They're all in it together because, like, we found that out straight away.
Well, it's people like Tracy Morris. She doesn't have to do anything at all. You don't. Everyone's got families. Everybody's got problems. But you two, you go out of your way. You go to countries. You spend time. It has been hassle for you on the way, on this trip. But, you came back, you've done the job, but, you don't have to do it. And it's people like you that need, a big pat on the back. I mean, Tracy, I know, and you as well, you both would do this without that pat on the back. So,
oh, yeah. We just do it to help people at the end of the day. I don't do it for any special recognition. I don't want no money for it. I do it all voluntarily. I don't even get paid for doing what I do. I just go and help people off a whim of, just them asking, and I'll go and help them. Anyways, back to the old doctor. He wouldn't even come out anyway, so I just had to...
But he was there.
Yeah, he was there.
He actually knew that, people with cameras have come over from the UK or whatever,
Oh, yeah, because I told all the nurses that I'm over all the way from England to issue him with some legal documents for acting fraudulent and corrupting with misconduct and negligence in public office.
In the and we have Coil case, yeah.
Yeah, and we had the audio footage of him threatening to section him off if he didn't do what they asked him to do and take his kids. So I said we'll expose all that all over the world and that. So I don't think he was too happy. That's why they rang the police.
You've exposed him in front of his own staff. That is justice in itself.
Yeah, and there was about 30 patients in there as well.
Yeah, because, at that point, it was just hearsay on the internet. But you actually went in there and exposed it. Well done to both of you.
Yeah, exactly. And if you ask Tracy, when we was on our way out, some Irishman came to us, shook my hand, and he went, "I can't believe you've come over from England." He said, "We need more people like you over here, so thank you for coming over and exposing what's going on." I said, "No, not at all, mate." I said, "It just needs to be done. There's a man that needs help, whether it be Ireland, Scotland, England or Wales. I'll be there to help people at the end of the day." So I'm not worried about these people. Like I said, you just got to use their system against them and that. And happy days. You can use some of the other things like the public notices and that if you know what you're doing and you're prepared to go all the way. Like there's a saying, if you're not prepared to get wet, don't step in the water. You've got to be prepared to get proper soaking and go all the way in, not just dip your feet in and pull them back out again.
I'll tell you what I can do. While we carry on with the Patrick Coyle case, it was actually Patrick at the time when I said somebody keeps bugging me. It was actually Patrick calling. Do you want to let me try and get him on?
Well, yeah, you can get him on if you want.
I might not, I can't call him or nothing, but I can try and email him in his European secure location.
Well, as long as he knows, when we was over there, we did everything in our power to help him. And we left it with, some of Tracy's top people. And I met them all as well, and they was really good people to know as it goes. They gave me a lot of information as well, so...
Yeah, so I've done that. Oh, hang on.
I was talking to them and they even agreed with me. The only way you can win these sort of things is if you go through their system.
And that's easy enough once you know how, and that's what I was saying to you earlier on. Get onto that later on about how people can help themselves or how we can help them to help themselves. But yeah, so in the Patrick Coyle case, and he's he's on the run from Craigavon Hospital in wherever it is, in Northern Ireland, the Bluestone ward.
Yeah, that's the only one we didn't get to hit was Bluestone, but that's the one we needed to really. But we can always go back and do that.
Well, Dr. Armstrong there, he's not allowed to prescribe drugs until he's talking to a psychiatrist. And Patrick was saying how the psychiatrist, the day he left the ward, or the day before, he had to talk to 2 psychiatrists for them to say, yes, he's not a danger to the public and he can leave the ward for the day with his auntie and uncle. Now, auntie and uncle had nothing to do with this. In fact, it was the campaigners that encouraged Patrick Coyle to flee. I think if Patrick had his own way, he would have stayed there, personally, from what he said afterwards, because, he feels at the moment no one's listening and nothing's being done, but he doesn't understand it's patience, isn't it, really? So anyway, Dr. Armstrong, you can't prescribe. He's the main problem there, and a nurse called Paddy. The actual psychiatrist gave him a full, clean bill of health. Now, how can you let somebody out on a day release when you've got a legal document? If you've got a legal document, sectioning them. No, it don't work like that. It's either sectioned or they're not sectioned.
It's because they didn't have that section authorisation in the first place. They've just done it because it's for profit. If they'd have had it, there's no way on this earth they'd have let him out to go down the flipping shops with his auntie and his uncle. There is no way on this earth. He's just fully all there. I've spoke to him and he seems pretty competent to me. There's nothing wrong with him whatsoever.
Well, he's frustrated and he's, a little bit annoyed at the best.
But that's emotions we're talking about. That doesn't mean you're mental just because you've got emotions and you've got anxieties, and that's just normal nature. That's normal nature. But they want to diagnose you with some mental illness so they can medicate you. But what made me laugh was he was there for how long? 6 weeks or something, I think, wasn't
he? Yeah, 6 weeks.
Yes, he was there for 6 weeks, and the whole 6 weeks he was there, they never gave him any of his medication or anything, because he's diabetic, isn't he? So he needed all his diabetic tablets.
Yeah, they tried to give him some pills that were making him dizzy. He realised what was going on, and he refused it, and after that they never bothered giving him any more.
Right, so that's what made me laugh, though, because we was getting phone calls at like late at night, and they was just saying to us, do you know where he is, because we're worried about his safety because he hasn't had his diabetic medication. So my partner, Tracy, she let rip on her, mate. She was like, are you telling me that he's been in there 6 weeks, you haven't given him his medication for diabetes, he's been away from there for 1 or 2 days, and your concern is his well-being due to his diabetes? She was like, I don't care, you're full of it. There is no way you can be looking out for his best interest because you would have gave him medication from day one.
Well, that's exactly what everybody else says. But the police have been calling daily at the moment to me. They've been calling around at David Barr's house once. Yes. They've been going to his groups that he was involved with trying to, get some help with his marriage issues. They've been literally doing everything and anything. And all they need to do, the police in Northern Ireland, is number one, compromise. And the compromise is guarantee that you won't take him back to that ward, get a judge or a lawyer to confirm, or prove to them, if you don't want to do that, prove to the world that it's a public interest story now. You have to prove to the world that he is under section and he has escaped and he is wanted at large because he's nuts, basically. If you can't do any of them, or you can't discharge the guy, then fuck off. Pardon my French, anybody who's listening. They've got to do one or the other, put up or shut up, in polite words.
Yeah, exactly. But they're not even willing to make that commitment, are they?
No, they're not. And I've talked to Adele. She's a duty inspector normally. I've talked to Sergeant Miles Meany. They're both very good. But when you get somebody who's very good, you then get a constable. And then when the constable had enough, you get a call handler, and then you go back to, round in circles. And they said over the phone, I never recorded it, there won't be any stone unturned. I never told Patrick this. There'll be no stone unturned until we get Patrick Coyle back in front of our eyes. They didn't say they're going to put him in Bluestone. In front of our eyes. And I said, the first thing I said was, there was this man, blah, 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 Northern Ireland. He's 70-odd. He's been missing for 3 or 4 weeks. He needs medication. He's suicidal. and no one's bothered about him. You've only just put him on the internet 6-7 weeks later, and you've got Patrick Coyle just been missing for a couple of days at that point, and you're going all paranoid over him.
They're just paranoid because they know what he's done and what he said to them. That's why. And with me turning up and Tracy turning up, I think it's overexposed them a little bit, too much exposure, I think, and they weren't expecting. They didn't see that coming. Because after we left the doctors, like I explained, we went round to the social services, went up to the 4th floor where it was, buzzing on the door, asked to speak to the head of social services there.
Brian McCluskey.
That's the one.
Yeah, and the social workers were Lisa Gervin and the mailman, his name's Gervin.
Well, that's it. And everywhere I went in Ireland, there was Gervin, so it must be a popular name in Ireland, because I went into the supermarket and there was all these artefacts made by Dr. Gervin and all that lot, and I was like, is that the same one or what? And they was like, no, Gervin's pretty familiar in Ireland, so I was like, oh.
They're all related.
Well, maybe. Anyway, so she wouldn't come out either, because I said I was going to arrest her, and that we saw the police when we was leaving actually pull up and go in there as well, so they called the police again, but we was expecting the police to come anyway, because we already told them that they'd probably be expecting another call and we'd be expecting them. But at that time we was on the phone to Mr. Patrick Coyle, and he was telling us the information we needed, and we found out basically what car she owned and went and served it onto a windscreen wiper and took footage of it and
wow, brilliant.
Left it on a window wiper because her car was all on its own, a brand new car.
Justice, eh?
Yeah, and I just left it in her windscreen and took photos of it and got it on video.
I'm going to go back and think, well, you've got the GP and you've got the social worker, but really I think, like all puppets, they're controlled by somebody else. Is it that, because they're so desperate to get children into care, and when marriages split up, to take the kids, is it the social services doing all this? Or is it really a combination of them and mental health? I don't know, because we've got to look at the root of the cause. Two people had a great 16-year marriage, and then all of a sudden, one deserted the other. Patrick should have had the law on his side, because the woman, probably talked to people. They've corrupted her to go against Patrick, his wife, and it must be something to do with social services. Where the hell did health get involved to such a level?
So he can act honourable and come and take them, or not. And then when the police come, that's what I asked them. Why don't you come in here with us so I can hand them over to them, and then that way you can watch it. There's no breach of the peace. So I haven't come here to breach of the peace. I come here to stand with indoor.
In a very crude way, I would love to be in his pants, Dr. Samuel. Well, I bet he was bricking it, yeah?
Well, he must have been, because he wouldn't come out and face us, and it was just a man and a woman that was downstairs wanting to talk to him. And he talks to members of the public every single minute of the day. So I don't understand why he wouldn't come down unless he had something to hide, which he did do, because he's been lying to try and help the local authorities steal Patrick's house as well. Like, the thing is, like, Patrick's own family's involved in it as well, so we had to actually go round to his house. Right, we went round there with the keys, and it was all the locks had been changed. So we had to do a secret mission and go and get another locksmith to come and change the locks again.
Actually, David, the friend of Patrick, said, he's tried it before, and he tried it again after you changed the locks and had to pay money. He said you can actually use a hairpin. He tried it, after that event, and he got into his own house with a hairpin.
Yeah, there's ways around it, but this guy was his friend anyway. He told us to ring this guy, so we rang him and he just come and done it, so it was just easier.
What happens now if they broke the door down and done it again?
Well, yeah, but other people have got keys to the house, so if they're checking on it daily, so if anyone goes up there and it's been changed again, the same thing will happen again. Another locksmith will come out and change it again.
Yeah, he's really worried about his house, and I don't blame him. I mean...
it's a beautiful house, though. I've been there. It's flipping a lovely house.
And it's a house that, we talk about the house that Jack built. It was the house that Patrick built on his own.
Yeah, and he's an amazing builder, I'm telling you. If he built a house, he's amazing, because the house is beautiful. And it's full of his memories, isn't it, of his children and everything. So we grabbed some of his pictures and everything. We put it all in storage for him with someone safe just down the road from where his house is.
Yeah, he was almost careful the other day. He said, you know, I don't mind what's been going on. They've changed the locks, blah, blah, blah. But what hurt him the most was his we can't call him the ex-wife because still his wife. His wife got people to break in there and steal half of the memories.
Well, that's it, but there's a lot of his photos still there, and we took a lot of them and put them in bags, and we got his all his important stuff, you know what I mean? But yeah, I ain't going to say too much, but it's safe anyway, safe and sound.
I mean, the obvious thing to do, and if I was single, I'd do it, I'd be his tenant for 3 weeks.
Well, that's what I said, put someone in there.
Yeah, it's who, isn't it? And that's the problem. Oh, maybe use it as a safe house for people fleeing the UK.
Exactly, try and get, well, that's it.
Put that into Tracy's head, and because Tracy will know somebody or one of them.
Oh, yeah, we was already talking about that anyway.
Yeah. Well, end of Patrick's story is, got a good lawyer given by Tracy and you. You know, there's been communication problems, and only because at the end of the day, Patrick wants to stay 1,000,000% safe where he is. So, you know, the mobile phones you have to change every day, and there is one email that I had to set up for him as a correspondence address. So that's been the communication problem.
Well, yeah, because I was going into his old emails and pulling up all the stuff and attaching them and forwarding them as well to us and David Barr as well, do you know what I mean? So,
yeah, I tried